we don't go till 8, that's for sure. And it's always nervous getting up here. And but I was thinking about it just a few minutes ago sitting. It's that excited, nervous feeling like right before you're about to go out and play a basketball game. It's the same feeling from high school, I remember. And it's an exciting thing. This book we hold in our hands is the most exciting thing in the world today. It is. There's no way around it. Now, not everybody feels that way, but you give it a chance, and it'll fill you up, and it'll set you on fire. It will, and it's a good thing there. And Acts chapter 3, and we're going to read just a few verses here, and verses 1 through 4. Let's stand together, and we'll read these 4 verses together, and we will be quick. I told somebody that, and they laughed at me. So we will be quick tonight. And anyway, let's go ahead and pray, and then we'll get started. Father, thank you for letting us be here today. And I pray you'd help us today as we go on, and you'd give us something from your word as we read here tonight. Amen. All right, don't sit down. We're breaking the routine a little bit here. I told you I'm nervous, all right? So Acts chapter 3, let's read verses 1 through 4. I'll let you have a seat after we're done. Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour, and a certain man lame from his mother's womb was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Go ahead and have a seat. And I was just thinking about some things earlier, and I thought I was reading a book on this, and I'm supposed to tell a joke. They said when you're nervous, tell a joke. So I got one. A Sunday school teacher asked the children just before she dismissed them to go to church, and why is it necessary to be quiet in church? And a little boy replied, because people are sleeping. Truth, isn't it truth? No, I love being able to be a part of the ministry. Just 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was able to run a funeral service, a memorial service for a dear lady that was at the Sun City Gardens rest home and the assisted living facility there. And she didn't have any other pastor. That was it. Those of us that preach there, I get to be there twice a month. Brother Carroll gets to go there. Mr. Munoz gets to be there, and other people rotate through that place. And so that is their church, and the family couldn't call me. They didn't have my contact information. They called Sun City Gardens, and they said, hey, when they come on Sunday, can you give them this note? And the note was, please call me about my mom. And so I got the note, and I gave the man Bernard a call. And he said, yeah, my mom, you guys are the only church, only pastor that she's had in the last 5-6 years. And because of her Alzheimer's and her dementia, she doesn't remember anybody from before. So would you run the service? And so we got to go, and I got to take some of the teenage guys with me, and they played their guitars and sang at the funeral, and everybody loved it, and they cheered and clapped. And no, it was a good funeral. It was a happy time. Everybody just felt bad for their mom because of all the pain she was going through, and it's hard to see your parent decline, and they were happy she was in heaven and her salvation was set, and the kids all knew it. And so it was a happy time. But I got to be a part of that, and good kids. And but anyway, I was thinking about that, thinking about funeral services, get to be a part of, and there was a funeral service being held in a church for a woman who just passed away. At the end of the service, the pallbearers carrying the casket accidentally bumped into a wall, jarring the casket. They heard a faint moan. They opened the casket and found that the woman was actually alive. She lived for 10 more years and then died. The ceremony again was held at the same church, and at the end, the pallbearers are again carrying the casket out, and as they're walking out, the husband calls out, "Watch out for the wall." Those things that you never know. I'm assuming that he was thinking heaven would be better for her than another 10 years of marriage. And since George Burns, if you know who George Burns is, said the secret of a good sermon is to have a good beginning and a good ending, and to have the two as close together as possible, we better get going here. Acts chapter 3. As I was reading this, some simplicity came to mind. And the Christian life is really, truly built on simple things. Not the spectacular, not the wonderful, not the amazing. It's built on simplicity. on the simple day in, day out things of life. But it's our human nature to avoid the simple things and to be attracted to what is new, to what is exciting, bold, or even dangerous. It's in us, and it's there. And I was thinking through all the illustrations of this, and I was thinking about all the men who have just a little bit frustrated, have heard their wives talking about, I'd like to remodel this room and repaint it. And the men are sitting there thinking, it's already decorated and painted just fine. Why do you want to remodel the room? And they're very wise, and they don't say anything except, I think that's a wonderful idea, dear. But they think those things. And I could probably have a hand raised and saying, how many of you have ever heard your wife say something like that, and then you don't say anything because you're good husbands. And then, but on the other hand, I wonder how many wives in this room have wondered why their husband would bring home a new project when he has 3 or 4 others unfinished around the house. So it goes both ways. That's just human nature. I mean, we'd much rather be in the exciting, the new, what catches our fancy. That's why advertising works, because usually we're not content with the day in and day out. We see that bright, shiny object that's put up before us, and we think, I need it. I have to have it. And in reality, we don't need to. That's why I wonder, iPhone X is the last one that came out. And they skipped the iPhone 9, didn't they? Do you ever wonder about stuff like that? And but you wonder, and you think, why do they have all these? It's because they split them up. They got it all figured out. If we can present it and break it up in little pieces, we can charge them for every single step along the way. And they probably had the iPhone X 5 years ago, but they just waited and they milked us of everything that we could get. And but we like it. We like the new and exciting. Well, spiritually, we do the same thing, and we're much more likely to neglect the plain, mundane, simple areas of Christianity. But if there's something new or exciting or bold, we want to be a part of it. Right now we could say, we're starting this new program at the church. It's going to be exciting, and we could present it, and there would be people in this room thinking, that sounds awesome. I want to be a part of it. Because that's us, and that's great. It's wonderful. And we should be for the new and exciting. That's why we have big days. That's why we have preaching on city trains. And that's why we have interrupting baseball games to give the gospel. And that's why we have remodeling buildings and repainting rooms and putting new flooring in. Because it makes a difference. It keeps things fresh. It helps us to stay encouraged and stay excited about the ministry. But if we don't keep up the simple things of serving God, how are we supposed to please Him? Because no matter how great the big days are, if we only lived on big days, we would not be pleasing God. Because God didn't say to please me, let's go out and have a big day. He said, no, to please me, let's do the daily, simple Christianity routine that I have set for you. And it's those things that please Him. It's the reading your Bible every day. It's the praying daily. It's the loving our families daily. It's going out and giving the gospel weekly. It's going to church when the doors are open. It's the simple things in life that'll make a great Christian and not the spectacular things. Now, the spectacular things are awesome, and we all love them, and we want to be a part of them, but it's not the spectacular things that build a church. It's not the spectacular things that build a Christian. It's not the spectacular things that build a great human being. You take any business owner who has built their business into a great business, and it's not been the spectacular that has built their business. It's been the daily, day in and day out routine of the mundane, boring things. I mean, just take paperwork, for example. I don't know anybody that likes to do paperwork. But if you don't do the paperwork, you don't succeed. You got to do your paperwork or don't succeed for long. You got to do the day in and day out mundane things. And in this story here, it's an exciting story. And great things happen, but we're going to go through it real quick, and it's going to be real quick. It's not going to be point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. It's just going to be going through the story, and we're going to look at some words here, and there are things that I think we can apply to our life and help us. So Acts chapter 3 and verse number 1. If you read along with me, when I pause, you say the next word, all right? We're going to do this like Sunday school here. It says, chapter 3, verse 1, now Peter and John went. They went. I think that is the key to their success. They went. They went. This is Missions Month, and we're talking about missions and going and giving the gospel and soul winning. And you know where it all begins? It begins with us wenting. Going. It begins with us going. And sometimes it's so hard because no matter when it is, when your time is, because we have Tuesday morning ladies soul winning, we have Wednesday teen soul winning, we have Thursday night soul winning for everybody, Saturday soul winning with the Saturday morning bus meeting. We've got all these times where people can meet together and go out together, and you're at home and it seems like everything happens before you're about to walk out the door. Or nothing happens and you just don't want to get off the couch. Either way. But we've got to go. It's the went that is important here. Now Peter and John went. This story here, they're going into the temple at the hour of prayer. This is the 9th hour, and some of you Bible scholars know what hour that was, but we won't discuss that right now because honestly, it really doesn't matter. It's the hour of prayer. And why did they go during the hour of prayer? Because they were going to find people. They knew that at the temple, at the hour of prayer, there's going to be a whole lot of people there. And why were they going out? Because they wanted to go out and find some people that they could share the good news with, that they could give the gospel to. So they go. That is the first thing that they did. That was the best thing. It started them out, and nothing else would have happened in the rest of the story had they not gone on that day. Matthew 14:13 tells us, "Go ye into the city, and there shall meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him." God told his disciples, go. 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 Now this was not the Great Commission. This was just for a simple task of getting Jesus a means to ride into the city of Jerusalem. And in Mark chapter 16 verse 15, he said, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Matthew 22:9 says, "Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid them to the marriage." Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost." And in Acts 5:42 it says, "And daily in the temple and in every house they cease not to teach and preach Jesus Christ." And I know, I figured it out. If they were daily in the temple and in every house, they had to go. They couldn't do it without going. Now today, I guess, no, even today you can't. I mean, you can't sit at home on Facebook and go. You can't do that. You can send, but you can't go. And God says to go. And that's one of the things these disciples did that was so important to them. And really, I think the number one reason that people don't get saved is because Christians don't go. We don't. Because going sometimes is really, really hard. Back to the issue of simplicity. Simplicity is the quality or condition of being easy to understand or easy to do. And when you look at this word go, it's not that hard. But for some reason, it is really hard to do. And it's really difficult to get up and to go. So these disciples, they went to the temple at the hour of prayer. They're looking for people they can give the gospel to. And then in Acts chapter 3, and then in the next verse 2, it says they found someone. And not only did they find someone, they found someone with a need. It says, "And a certain lame man from his mother's womb was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful," to what? To ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. Now obviously if he's asking, he has a need. There's this guy, he's got a need. And Peter and John knew if they went to the temple at the hour of prayer, when all those people were there, they were going to find somebody who had a need. There was no way they could go out and have all those people around and not find somebody that needed something. There's for sure someone who has a need when we go. I guarantee it. They may not be there. They may not answer the door. They may not want to listen to you, but they are there and they have a need. They knew they would find a need. And when we look at the person who actually had the need, it was a lame man who had never walked, could not support himself. It wasn't the rich man or the middle class. It was the poor, helpless beggar that had the need, and he was the one who was asking for help. There will always be someone asking for help that you can find if you go. That's it. That's all it is. And it doesn't matter if it's money or food or work that you can help them with. The number one thing that they need help with is salvation. That is. You say, I don't have any money to give to anybody. You say, well, what do you have? Do you have salvation you can give to them? And that's the main emphasis here. This man got healed. He got saved. And it's an excellent thing. Me and my wife were just talking. She said there was a teenage girl that in the last couple of weeks we talked to about Christmas. And the girl said, yeah, we had Christmas, but we didn't have any presents because money's been tight. And for it just to think about, we're so spoiled, but to think about that, to have a child where the family and the children of the family didn't have any presents. There are people in need everywhere. And we look at that and we think, oh, that's so horrible. That's so sad. Well, we should think the same thing about people who are dying and going to hell. What is worse, not getting a Christmas present or being bound for hell? There are people with a need everywhere that we can find, that God will direct us to if we go. Next verse, verse number 4. Peter and John did something that we struggle with sometimes. I know I do. Verse number 4. And Peter, what? Fastening his eyes upon him, they looked at him. Now, I've done this. This is personal confessions here. You go out soul winning. You're going to talk to somebody. And the first person God sends your way, all of a sudden there's something across the street that demands your attention. And you avoid all eye contact. You think, nah, that's not the right person. And you walk by them. And the next person comes along and you think, hey, look at there. Or you look at the sidewalk, or you look at your shoe. Oh, my shoe's untied. I got to tie my shoe. And we don't want to make eye contact here. And it's hard because it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to approach somebody. And God sends somebody along who has a need, and we walk right by, and we're afraid to make eye contact with them because then what if they look back at us? I don't know. What are we going to do? Because it's scary. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking here. They looked at him. It is so true that we can get all pumped up to go out soul winning, or go out and talking to people, or talk to my neighbor, or to talk to my relative, and as soon as the opportunity presents itself, we do the no eye contact thing. That's what we do. We don't want to make eye contact. If you make eye contact, it's going to demand a welcome or a greeting of some kind, and then we might actually have to talk to the person, and they're kind of scary. And we don't want to do that. Not Peter and John. They looked right in that guy's eyeballs. And it is kind of fun to do sometimes. So you can have if you're bold enough to do it, but you're going to go up to somebody and they're trying to avoid eye contact with you because they know you're in a shirt and tie or you're in a dress and you're carrying a Bible, or they think you're a Jehovah's Witness or something. And you're going up to them and they're looking everywhere except for you. Like they're trying to. The conversation gets more intense with the person they were talking to, and you just go up to them and just look them right in the eye. Say, "Hey, I'm from Faith Baptist Church." And just look at them, right in their little eyeballs right there, and look at them. And it makes people so uncomfortable sometimes. It's just so much fun. And you shouldn't do that to make people feel uncomfortable, but it is fun to do sometimes. Anyway, they looked at him. They looked at him right in the eyes. They did. And they actually, and later on in the verse, they actually had to tell the lame man to look at them. But they didn't do what we so often have done and pretend to be distracted by something else. That's what we do. So they did. Not only did they go, they found somebody with a need, because there's bound to be somebody with a need of salvation. They looked at them, and they told them at the end of verse number 4, John said, "Look on us." And there was no beating around the bush. There was no, "Hey, are you interested in this?" It was like, hey, look at me. And it was getting his attention there. And this layman, what's he supposed to do? And he's wanting attention here. He's wanting some help here. He's asking for an alms or a help here. In verse number 5, it says, "And he gave heed unto them." It is amazing. If you go out, let's say we all went out tonight, just to every gas station, every eating establishment. There's people everywhere. There are. Might only be 2 or 3 there, but there are people there. And you talk to every single person there, I guarantee you there will be people there with a need who won't take heed to you. They don't want to listen. That's the sad part. That's the part that can get discouraging. This man in need actually listened to them. And so don't get discouraged. I think about this. Peter and John, I wonder how many people they talked to who didn't listen to them. They said, "No, I don't have time. I got to go. I can't listen. No, I don't have time. Yeah, I already got to church. I got to go. And it's so easy. You do that enough. Nobody wants to listen. What's the matter with everybody? People, they don't even need to be saved. Probably already saved. Go to church. And then we quit before we actually get to the person who has the need. And so we got to keep going, because this man in need actually listened. He gave heed to them. And there are so many people who will not listen. They have a need, and they know that they have a need, and God's probably been working on their heart, but they will not listen. So don't be discouraged by it. There's someone else right around the corner. So when somebody won't listen, don't give up. Don't go home. Don't go get a 44-ounce Mountain Dew at the gas station. Just keep going, because I guarantee you right around the corner is somebody who has a need that will listen to you. Now, verse number 6, it says, "And Peter said, Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee." That phrase, "such as I have." Everybody say it with me. Ready? Such as I have. This is the best part of the story. Don't worry about if you have all the right words to say, or all the right verses memorized, or all the right doctrine down. Just give them what you have. I've talked about, "Hey, what about going out soul winning?" "Well, I just don't know if I know what to say, and I don't really have all the things." Look, just go out and give them what you got. That's it. You say, I don't know how to tell somebody how to be saved. Then get a tract and say, "Hey, could I give you one of these? You should read the back. It's really good." And go away. If you don't have a tract, you're digging everywhere. Where do all my tracts go? If you don't have a tract, so you go up to somebody and say, "Hey, you go to church anywhere?" "Oh, I got a good one right down the road, Faith Baptist Church. You should come sometime." Give them what you got. Give them whatever you have. And the devil's so good. He convinces us that, we're worthless. We're worthless. You're a worthless soul winner. You know, you walked out of the house. You don't have your New Testament. You don't have your track. What are you going to do? And some of us, you know, if we don't have any tracks, oh, I guess we can't go soul winning. Man, where could I find some? I guess, well, building's all locked up. Nobody's around. There's none in the car. You know, you look under the seats, under the mats. None slipped under anything. Say, oh, well, guess we can't go soul winning today. And, but you can still go soul winning. Peter and John didn't have any tracks. They didn't. And they probably weren't carrying their Bible with them either. They probably weren't. They're just going out and they're just going to give them what they got. And they do. They go to the lame man and they say, such as I have, give I thee. And they give them what they got. And all they had to give them was Jesus. That's all it was. That's all that they had to give them. They said, look, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. He took him by the hand, and the man believed and believed in Jesus Christ. The man got saved. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful story here. Me and my wife and kids were at the grocery store a few months ago, and they were having a sale on, I don't remember what it was, some meat that ended up being really, really good. And on the bar, we barbecued, and it was really good. But anyway, there was a guy there in front of me, and there's a sale, and you know, they got the meat out on the racks there, and he's about as wide as he is tall. And so I was waiting for him to be done, real sharp-looking guy. And he told the butcher came up and said, what can I help you with? He said, hey, give me both those racks. Like both stacks of meat. There's like 15 steaks on there. And I went up and said, hey, you having a barbecue? He's like, no way, this is just a good deal. I'll throw them in the freezer till I want to eat them later. And I don't know how much money he spent on steaks, but he had a lot of steaks there. Came out with 3 bags of steak, of meat. And I got talking to him, and he's Catholic, and just in and out. And I didn't have time to go through the gospel. I didn't have time to bring it up. All I got out was he's Catholic, he loves God, and he thought it was great, liked our family. And as he's walking out, because he's got to go, and he left me 2 steaks. And no, there was a whole other rack they brought out. But he as he's walking away, Bryce was there, and he took a $100 bill and stuck it in his pocket and said, "Here, you pay for the groceries, okay?" And he's looking around, hoping I didn't notice. He keep the $100 bill in his pocket. And he gave us a $100 bill just for talking to him. And then you never know what's going to happen. You go, you look for people in need, you give them what you got, they'll give you money. That's what it is there. No, that's not the end of the story. So got his name. His name was Danny. Talked to him. He had to go. I had to go. We didn't have any more time to talk. And just a couple weeks later, we're in Marietta, walking into Panda Express, because it's just a little bit lower than Chipotle. And we're going to Panda Express, and we're walking out, and I look over, and Danny's over there. He's right at the next shop, eating at the taco shop. And I wave and say, "Hey, Danny." And he looks over and says, "What do you know?" And, got to talk to him there. And we had to go. We couldn't wait, so we didn't get a chance there. But every opportunity, I'm praying we run into him again, because sometime or another going to run into Danny and going to be able to go through the gospel, and he's going to get saved. So just go out and give people what you got. That's all it is. It's no pressure. It's not you have to say everything right. It's not you have to go and preach the gospel to thousands of people in the middle of the mall. It's just go out and give people what you got. Now, this is great, too. Acts chapter 3, verse 5. It says, "And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them." Well, he got something, and it wasn't quite what he was expecting, but it was a whole lot better. And it's going back to the eye contact thing. It's like the guy at the intersection with the anything help sign. You know, you drive by and he's 3 feet away from your car window, and you're staring straight ahead, but you can see him out of the corner of your eye. And you're sitting there, and you kind of look over. I don't do that anymore. I just look at him. I nod. Just look at him. And if I have $1, say, "Here you go, here's $1. I can." But you know what? There's people like this, and they need help, and you may not have any money. They may be in need. They may not even know they have a need, but there's something that you can give them that they are not expecting. And in the end, it turns out a whole lot better than they ever thought was possible. Don't ever feel bad about that. You go through, give them what you got. That is it. Because even if they're not expecting it, it's something wonderful. And if they say, no, not right now, well, you gave them what you got. God will bring them around again the second time. He'll do that. It all comes down to, will you go? Will you go? That's it. And think about the last time you went out with a partner, you went out and just talked to somebody. I don't know, it's kind of scary. It is scary. That's why you go with a partner. Back up. You go door to door, knock on that door, praying nobody's home. Oh, God, nobody. Let nobody be home. Put the track on the door. Or you do what Johnny has talked about, do the fake doorbell thing. Nobody's home, track on the door. What's bad is when you ring the fake ring the doorbell, and then somebody opens the door, and you scare them because they didn't know anybody was there, and they're walking out. And just go. Give people what you got and go. It all comes down to will you go. The biggest problem with Christianity is Christians don't go. We're so busy. We're just so busy. We're busy taking care of our family. Yes, we should take care of our family. We're busy keeping a good marriage. We should keep a good marriage. We're busy running our business and working our jobs and keeping a good name on the workplace. And yes, that's very important. We're busy teaching Sunday school. We're busy working at the church. We're busy in the PA booth. We're busy running the camera. We're busy cleaning the buildings. We're busy doing all sorts of things for God. But if we don't go, people go to hell. And you say, I don't know if there's anything I could do. There is. Show up on Saturday morning, 9:45, right in the friendship room up here. And when they say, does anybody need anybody to go with? Raise your hand up. Just raise it up. And they'll say, oh, you don't have anybody to go? All right, let's have you go with so-and-so. They'll take you. You don't have to talk. You don't even have to talk to your partner. Just say, hey, I don't know. I'm just here to watch. And then sit there. When they get out of the car, you get out of the car. When they try and talk to you, just say, I'm sorry, I'm just here to watch. Oh, it's okay. Get out. Go somewhere. When you're at the grocery store and somebody just out of the blue starts talking to you, it's kind of weird. Somebody's next door in the cereal aisle looking at cereal, and somebody says, hey, you ever tried this kind? Like, why are you talking to me about cereal? You never know. It might be God sending somebody your way who's in need of salvation. And God's just saying, give them what you got. You may not know what to say. You may not know everything to give them. Just give them what you got. Give them your testimony. Tell them about your church. Tell them about what happened to you. Tell them the little things, and little by little, God will work on that person's heart. Because it's not you that saves them. God says, no man cometh to the Father except that he's drawn by me. And God will little by little use you to draw these people to Christ. So the question, where will you be from 9:45 to 12 p.m. on Saturday morning? Where will you be on Thursday evening from 6:45 to 8 p.m.? And when those dates come around, when those times come around, think about it. Think, where am I? Let's see. I'm sitting in the living room watching my favorite TV show. And then compare it to going. Or Saturday morning, I've got to mow the lawn. Look, any excuse to get out of mowing the lawn, folks. Come on, let's go sowing. You know, however it is. Maybe you say, I don't have that much time. All right, let's say show up at 9:45, go to the 15-minute, 20-minute meeting, get encouraged, get partnered up, go out for 30 minutes, be back at 11 o'clock, and then go mow the lawn. Everybody has time. We've all got time to go. It's just going. It's getting ourselves up and ready and out and going. When you see someone in need when you're out, don't avoid eye contact. Just give them what you have to give. Let's keep it simple. What would the world be like if every single person that claimed to be a Christian did these three things? If they read their Bible every day, if they prayed every day, if they went to church weekly, and if they went out with the gospel regularly. The world would be Christianized. The world would be saved. But we can't expect... Now, we do. We look at these big contemporary churches. Like, they don't go out. It's such a shame they don't go out. When did you go out? So that's not slimy. That's all of us. We struggle with it. We can't expect others to do it if we don't do it. That's the thing. Hey, go. When you're making a business stop and you got a break and somebody's right there doing nothing, go up to them. Say, hey, how's it going? You on break? Yeah, I'm too. You go to church anywhere? No. Well, I do. I go to a great one. It's wonderful. And give them what you got. It's not hard. But sometimes we make it really, really difficult to do. Father, I thank you for all you've done for us. I pray you bless the time we have tonight. God, I know I've got a lot of work to do. And I don't think there's any one Christian in the entire world that has arrived. We all have to grow. We all have to do more. We all need to be better. We all need to increase what we do. I know there's people in this room that are so busy. They do so much for you. We've got to remember it's the simple things in life that make greatness. And God, we want to be great for you. We want to make you great. We want to make your name great to the world. And God, without these little things, it doesn't happen. It's not the spectacular big day. It's not Brother Marco's 4th anniversary with over 1,500 people. It's not Kevin Wynn with over 1,500 people in his evening service. It's the day in, the day out. It's the walk with you. It's the soul winning time. It's the taking the few minutes extra to talk to the person who needs some money. It's just a little by little giving what we have to give. And God, there's so many of us, we don't have a lot to give. But you're not asking for a lot. We understand that. So God, I pray you'd help us to give what we can. With our heads bowed and our eyes closed, let's stand. We'll have an invitation as the instruments play.